Jono, my man, what's up?
Yo,
We're back again.
yes, 2 weeks in a row. I'm proud of us.
This is great. Hey,
It is great.
wanted
Mark's
to
going to join us, but he is at the dentist, so hopefully we can get him in here next week.
casting crowns.
He's getting a crown, literally having a crown casted.
Yes.
That is the irony.
Yeah.
So we were having a good discussion on serving. We thought we would share like a minute of that with you guys. So Neil had some good stuff to say about that.
Yeah, just thinking towards one of the things that we started talking to our leaders about this year is seeing wins in your students, and seeing spiritual growth. And just one of the things we talked about was how unnatural it is for a student to serve, and how that just nothing in them typically says, let me go do something for someone else. And so when you have kids that are doing that, they're sensitive to something. The Lord's doing something in their heart. It's a win. Celebrate it, but tap into it. And I know one of the things that we're talking about looking ahead, is developing leaders. But I would say if the kids that are serving are probably prime candidates for kids that are going to be leaders or are already leaders in your student ministry, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, and we've talked about this over the years. And I think we've probably both said this to parents and our leaders, but the students that we see graduate from high school and go off to college and not lose their mind, the ones that continue to walk with the Lord, the ones that go on to have a pretty solid marriage, and keep their faith and not disappear from the local church, are the ones who in the youth group were serving. And that's not always the case, but what we see over and over again is the ones who keep walking with the Lord, weren't just on the fringes when they were in high school. They were they saw the value, they felt a call to serve. And so I think, if you can get your students serving, that just sets them on a path of serving and connection to the local church, and really changes the direction of their life, no doubt.
I mean, one of our goals, it's not attained. We hadn't hit it. One of our goals, we want all kids on a mission trip by the time they graduate. We want all kids engaged in their local community by the time they graduate. It just changes. It's game changer.
I know that when we've thrown out serving opportunities, and whenever I've shared that with the parents, there's been more times than I can count to where some of the families that didn't really value like Wednesday night youth group or Sunday morning Bible study, they were there just kind of average once every month or so. They weren't pushing their kids. If there was anything that came up on Wednesday night, their kid was at that, not youth group. But whenever I threw out, hey, we're going to serve, uh, some of them were so frustrated with how selfish their teenager was. They said, oh, my kid will be there.
My
They're going
God,
to be there.
give them a rake.
They may not. Yeah. They're like, I want my little brat out there serving,
Yeah.
And so here, youth pastor, fix that for me. So that's not ideal, but you will see parents who may not see the value of your weekly youth ministry program, playing games and stuff like that, even though we know that serious good stuff happens. They may not see it, but when you start taking their student to serve and help them make their teenager less selfish, a lot of parents will get in on that.
Yeah. And you can involve the parents. It helps you too. Get the parents in on it. I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
That was always my first question when they come to me like, hey, my kid's going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
hey, well, she can't fit in my car. So could you drive too? I don't have enough drivers.
I mean, we probably should stop after this, but think about this idea. We started talking about this, that how backwards our student serving can be when our strategy is get a parent to drop off a child to go serve, because eventually that child grows up to be a parent who then drops off their child to go serve. And if they're not doing it together, you're only going to produce the same thing. But what would be far more valuable to that kid than just being dropped off is watching their mom and dad lead the way in serving.
Yeah,
that's a whole
a good goal
conversation.
Yeah, well, so all that to say, and going back to one of the things we mentioned before, we kind of want to talk over the next few months about developing a student leadership team. And so this whole idea of serving, again, that's kind of your
Be your core
group that you can go after that will be your core. Those are the ones that are gonna show up. And so that's a big deal. And when we talk about serving, we're talking about inside the church and out, whether it's holding babies on Sunday mornings while mamas and daddies go to church and can have a break for an hour, or it's going out feeding the homeless. Both are serving. And I think students need to learn both. We don't want to limit them just to serving inside the church. And I don't think we want to never have them serving inside the church either. So,
good stuff, bro.
All right.